So now that we found that point, we can find RS. Now, when you see this notation, I had some people kind of confused on previous worksheets and tests. They didn't know what this meant. Okay, if it doesn't have the bar over it and has the two endpoints, it's just the distance from R to S, so the length of RS. Now, you could find the length of RN and double it, or now that you know RS, you can just plug that into the distance formula. So I'm going to plug it into the distance formula. So RS equals, and then 10 minus negative 2, which would be 10 plus 2 squared, plus, and then 13 minus negative 3 would be 13 plus 3 squared. And so that gives you, 12 squared plus 16 squared. And 12 squared is 140. Now make sure you don't just add the 12 and the 16 and then square it, because I've had students that have tried to do that before. Order of operations, you have to square them first and then add them together. Okay, so don't add these and then square them. So this is 144 plus 256, which gives you 400, and the square root of 400 is 20. So this is 20. Okay, and then we are going to find the midpoint of PQ, and then we want to find the distance from P to M. So to find the midpoint of PQ, I'm just going to use my midpoint formula. Okay, so I'm just going to say midpoint of PQ, and that's add your x's together, so negative 1 plus 5 over 2, and then 2 plus negative 6 over 2. And so this gives you 4 divided by 2, which is 2. And this gives you negative 4 divided by 2, which is negative 2. So this point here is 2, negative 2. And then you could do what we did before with RS. You can find the distance and then take half. Or now that you know M, you can just find the distance from P to M. So I'm going to just find PM. And then I'm going to subtract, so 2 minus negative 1, which is 2 plus 1 squared, plus negative 2 minus 2 squared. So that's 3 squared plus 4 squared. And if you want, I mean, you could say that's negative 4, but it's the same thing. So that's just 9 plus 16, which is 25, and the square root of 25 is 5. So PM is 5. Now, of course, you can always do Pythagorean theorem to find the distance. So you could go up 16 and over 12 and have a square or a triangle here that's 16 squared plus 12 squared equals c squared, and that's going to give you the same answer. And then I could do that same thing here. I could go up 4 and over 3. Notice it's those same values that are here, and I'm going to get the same thing. So you can use distance formula or you can use Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so on your homework, I'm just going to quick go through. Pretty much everything's pretty much straightforward. Find coordinates using either distance formula or midpoint formula. Down here, you're finding direction. Okay, so your coordinates may be negative, but your direction's not going to be negative. So remember, if you go south, then that value would be negative. If you're going to the west, it'd be negative. So just kind of keep that in mind. All right, on the back, I know it kind of looks like a lot, but it's not too bad. I'm going to kind of just talk you through it real fast, so you can pause it, work it. If you need to, then unpause it and kind of go through it. So here it's talking about the pitch of the roof, which is just like the slope of the roof, and it says that it's 2/5. So the rise is 2 and the run is 5. Okay, so it's a rise over run. That's your pitch. And then it's scanning 24 feet. Okay, so your distance all the way across your truss is 24 feet. Okay, well, I just told you that answer. Didn't mean to. Okay, so now we're going to use this 2/5, this ratio up here, to find the the height of SR, and then you'll be able to do the Pythagorean theorem to find PS. Okay, so you're going to set up a proportion to find SR using this 2/5 pitch, because it's going to still have to have that same ratio. And then you know the distance of PR because you know the distance of PQ. Now, when you get down here, it tells you that these are all perpendicular, so they're all parallel to each other. Okay, so that means it cuts these sides proportionally. So basically, if you take SR, then that you take that triangle, then M and B are midpoints, so that's a mid-segment, so you should be able to calculate the mid-segment. And then if you look at this triangle, L and A are midpoints, so that's a mid-segment. And then you'll be able to find CN. Okay, so you can use that, or you can use proportions just like you did up here, and you know all of these distances, so you'll be able to find the heights. Once you get down to 20 through 22, you have these triangles, and so you'll have to do Pythagorean theorem to find those missing parts. On every one of these, you're rounding to the nearest nearest tenth of a foot. So once you get down here to 23, you're going to add up all the pieces of wood, okay? And then this is just repeated over here on this side. So you're going to add all the wood up to rounded to the nearest foot, and that will give you your total. So you're going to have several things to add here on 23. All these little pieces of wood on the other side, and all these diagonals also on the other side. Be careful, don't just add one side and then double it, okay? And the reason for that is because this SR, there's only one of those, not two of those, okay? So hopefully that helps. Good luck.